with Nitin Patel, Director Sadbhav. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Vinayak, that time of the year where we have to start with a simple question. What do you expect from this year's budget? It's a small question, but I expect a powerful answer.
Good. We are expecting a powerful response in the budget as a follow-up to your powerful question. I think there is fair unanimity of opinion amongst infra watchers and infra analysts and public finance specialists that the budget is going to loosen up to a certain extent on the fiscal deficit to create headroom for funding infrastructure. And estimates go anywhere from loosening up of 0.5% to 1%. Let us see now, every 0.5% gives 1 lakh crore. So if there is a 1% loosening up of the fiscal deficit, then there is an extra headroom of 2 lakh crores. The suggestions that have been given to the government, including suggestions that I have strongly made, is that even if 1 or 2 lakh crores extra headroom is provided in the budget, either from fiscal deficit relaxation or from ring fencing the proceeds of asset monetization or privatization, instead of directly using those funds, it is better to get a bigger bang by leveraging those funds. For example, if the same 2 lakh crores extra that can be earmarked for infra is transferred as an equity to a DFI, a dedicated financial institution for the infrastructure sector, which we have urged should be created in the absence of commercial banks and NBFCs funding the sector, then that 2 lakh crores can be leveraged minimum 9 times. So you can actually, on the back of that, get another 18 lakh crores and have a 20 lakh crore, shall we say, corpus being readied to hit the annual target of 20 lakh crores per annum, which is the Prime Minister's wish list. So this is the broad thrust of the budget recommendations that have been given. The other is, it's not strictly a budget issue, but there is a huge overhang of pending payments from all Sarkari institutions and entities that buy goods and services from the private sector. So if the budget could actually have some strong messaging that pending payments have to be released with alacrity, and if there could be a special software program that extracts all the GST bills submitted to the GST inclusive bills, invoices submitted to the government, and lists it against the dues pending with specific institutions, like how much does the railways owe in terms of pending bills, how much does NHAI, how much does NHDCI, how much does Inland Waterways, etc., etc. So the release of liquidity in terms of pending invoices, as well as speedy disposal of arbitral cases, the 75% clause, these are all should be addressed in the budget, both in terms of provision of liquidity as well as in terms of some very strong messaging, follow-up action, and an IT solution that gives transparency to exactly how much is pending from which institution. But let me stop here.
Follow-up question would be, the whole Andhra Pradesh experience in a sense has left a lot of bitter aftertaste for investors and for companies. You don't know which way the political wind is going. And we know that this is not like the time when you say that states and center, they want to work together. There is a political reasoning for that. I'm not getting into why, but do you think that is the biggest worry for the industry, that how do you safeguard your future projections, future orders at the state level? Budget may not address it, but is that something which in a sense has been an eye-opener or shocker for everyone?
Yes, it has not been the first time. The preservation of sanctity of contracts has long been an issue, and therefore the crib from the private sector is that it is always a non-level playing field, that the government can get away with impunity in terms of its interpretation of contracts and what it wishes to do, and private sector is left high and dry. It is a significant concern. While you do raise the issue of Andhra Pradesh, and we know the reasons of the abrogated contracts, this game is plays out in different state governments with different levels of sophistication. In many senses, they are not outright cancellations of contracts, but subtle and not so subtle arm twisting on the commercials, which in turn lead to a situation of an almost virtual abrogation of a contract without officially saying we are cancelling a contract. So it is of sufficient importance to the private sector and is of sufficient concern. But as you rightly said, this is not a matter that is addressed by the budget.
Mr. Nitin Patel as well joining in. Mr. Patel, at a time when the fiscal space is very limited, do you think we can see an increase in the infra spend?
See, obviously, if the fiscal deficit target is increased actually, so definitely there will be a good headroom can be created. But according to our understanding, if we see the road infrastructure or railway, whatever is there, if the government has planned and the announcement is that the coming 5 year, the investment is going to become, say, 100 lakh crores or whatever has been basically mentioned by the finance minister. So to support that, the visibility of the budgetary allocation for 5 year also is to be given. The indication is to be given. So all the basically participants, either it may be private or the banking sector, and everybody will be geared up that the government has a clear roadmap for coming 4 to 5 years. So how much basically allocation is going to come? Either this is for this budget, but every budget, what will be the basically the allocation? Because this is the very significant to give a clear understanding to entire industry and entire sector to gear up, which will definitely give the boost to the economy plan of the government. That's what we are clear. We should now look after. Every year on year, sometime it gets reduced, it gets increased, then everybody will wait for what is happened the next year. So this cloud is to be removed, what we understand as of now.
Mr. Patel, what are the specific measures that you're expecting? Special funding for projects, any innovative methods that will address funding needs for the sector, tax ops, anything specific that you're looking out for?
See, first of all, in particularly highway sector, if I will tell, because we had a significant presence there. So allocation for land acquisition for this is one part. Second thing, the allocation of the funds for the tenders. Projects basically. So what we understand that the EPC should be this particular year, EPC should be the basically focus area, followed by the HAM, because we don't see the significant basically turn up will come under the BOT space. So that is at least we are expecting minimum 20% increase in the allocation as compared to previous year so far as highway sector is concerned. And apart from that, what we are expecting that all the arbitration matters and as well as the pending GST payments and everything which is there, every contractors are supposed to get. There should be some specific allocation to this, which in turn all this money will come into the sector for further basically investments into the by all the players in the highway sector. That is what we are expecting in this budget.
Vinayak. Okay, one is this big fat assumption of what will happen to the total infra spend. Within that, Vinayak, let's categorize the areas where the multiplier effect could be very large. There is a talk of making rail routes private. There is a talk of connecting ports and rivers. Road, Vinayak, some would argue, by and large, a lot has been done and order books are not that bad. So in terms of the onus and in terms of the focus, the need of the hour is to create that multiplier effect. Money comes out, you create more jobs, you add more to the economy. Where do you think large part of thrust within the infra space should be?
Well, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it is water. For the simple reason that in the allocation and of ministerial duties, the Prime Minister, assuming the second term, created a new ministry called the Jal Shakti Ministry. And that had a purpose. It was to focus on water. Both upstream, middle, downstream and retail connectivity, culminating in what is called the Nal Se Jal commitment to the people of India that by 2024, every household will have piped running water, potable water. So, and I think the Prime Minister across all his speeches and his ministers have expressed extreme degree of seriousness about meeting this commitment to the people of India. So I wouldn't be surprised if the budget allocations for water, and by water, I mean integrated water, it would include irrigation, laying of pipelines, raising of water for ultimate retail distribution, etc. If that sector will probably see a very high spike in allocation compared to previous years when it was reasonably marginal compared to the other ministries. And to answer your other question, the water sector will have very, very significant multiplier effect. Probably the same as roads, because it will involve a huge degree of labor deployment. So it will have a very strong job multiplier effect.
Mr. Chatterjee, as well as Mr. Patel, appreciate you both taking the time out, joining in and giving us your sense as to what to expect from the infrastructure sector in the budget. So